Okay guys, let's take number 5 here. Let's work this out very slowly, okay? First of all, anytime that you're graphing a quadratic inequality, you graph it just like it has an equal sign, okay? In fact, I'm going to come over here and pretend I have an equal sign for just a couple minutes, okay? Now understand I do not have an equal sign, but I'm going to pretend that I do. Now the first thing you do when you're graphing a quadratic equation or inequality is find the vertex. This is your A, because it's the coefficient of your x squared. This is your B, because it's the coefficient of your x. And this is your C. Here's how you find the vertex. Negative B over 2A. Alright. So I have a negative sign up top. And then for B I put a negative 2. And then 2A. For A I put a 3. Got it? So negative is positive 2. 2 times 3 is positive 6. That would give me a 1/3. Now that's not my entire vertex, that's part of my vertex. Remember that goes right in the middle of your table of values. So right in the middle here I'm going to put 1/3. Okay? Now, to find the y value I have to put 1/3 in for x over here. Alright? So let's do that carefully and see what happens. I have 3 and then 1/3 squared. Negative 2 times 1/3 and then positive 5. Now if you have a calculator, you should not struggle with fractions at all. First of all, with your calculator, if you take 1/3 times 1/3, and by the way, do not multiply these two first. You first must do your powers, okay? So 1/3 squared means 1/3 times 1/3. 1/3 times 1/3. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 1/9. So now I have 3 times 1/9. Bring down your negative 2 times 1/3. Bring down your positive 5. Now, 3 times 1/9 is 1/3. Negative 2 times positive 1/3 is negative 2/3. And then bring down your positive 5. Now, 1/3 minus 2/3 is a negative 1/3. Positive 5. And then 5 minus a third, or 1/3 plus 5 would be 4 2/3. So there we go. Okay. Now, from here, let's go up to 1 and 2. And then go down to 0 and 1. Alright. And here we go. Let's substitute 2 in for x. So 3 parentheses 2 squared, negative 2. 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 12. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, positive 5. Combine those and you will get 13. Alright, so when you put in 2, you get out 13. Now let's substitute 1 in for x. Alright. So we have 3, 1 squared, negative 2 times 1, positive 5. 1 times 1 is 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, positive 5. And that should give you out 6. Okay, moving on to putting a 0 in for x. 3 times 0 squared, negative 2 times 0, positive 5. 0 squared times 3 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, plus 5. So 0 plus 0 plus 5 would be 5. And then lastly, put a 1 in for x. So 3 parentheses 1 squared, negative 2 times 1, positive 5. So square the 1, that's 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, positive 5. And you do get out, and something's not, oh, it should be a negative 1, my fault. Negative 1, put a negative 1 here, negative 1 here. When you square the negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2, positive 5, that gives you 10. Alright, now, let's review step 1, find the vertex. Step 3, fill in your table of values. Now, usually this this number here matches this number here, doesn't it? But it didn't. That's okay. Usually this number here matches this number here, and it didn't. Let me show you why, okay? Do you see this x value of your vertex right here? Anytime that number is a whole number, or a fraction that has, well, if it's a half fraction, like a half, or 1.5, or 6.5, or -2.5, if it's any fraction or mixed number that has a half in it, then this number will match this number, and this number will match this number, okay? Anytime this number right here is a whole number, or a 1/2 type of fraction, then these numbers here will match, and these numbers here will match. Let me ask you a question. Do I have a whole number right here? No. Is my fraction a 1/2 type of fraction? No. That's why these numbers don't match. But we can still graph it, okay? That's not a problem. So step 1, find the vertex. We did that. And then step 2, coordinate plane. Alright. So, looks like my greatest y value is 13. And here we go. So 213, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 over 2. So 213 is right there. Then 1, 6 over 1 and up 6. And then over 1/3, so barely over, and up 4 and 2/3. So right there, there's the vertex. Okay. And then 0, 5. So right here. And then -1, 10. So -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. -1, 10. About right there. Now, that looks weird because the points are not across each other, but guys, just start the vertex and start making a curve. Here's the vertex. You know it's going to curve there. There you go. It's going to be a skinny parabola. That's okay. Okay, now I know it's supposed to be dotted. Just hold on, okay? There it is. It's not that hard, guys. It's really not. Okay? Now, notice we have less than. We do not have less than or equal to, okay? So the parabola should be a dotted parabola, alright? So I'm going to make that a dotted parabola real quick here. Your parabola should be dotted, okay? So make sure you fix that. Alright, and now lastly, we test a point and then we shade. Now, when you go to test a point, I always encourage you to use 0, 0 when you can, okay? If 0, 0 lies on the parabola, then don't use it. If that ever happens, then what point do you use? You use a point that lies on the y-axis. That's the easiest way to do it. But in this case here, does 0, 0 lie on the parabola? No, it does not. So let's test 0, 0. Alright? Y is less than 3x squared negative 2x positive 5. So where the y is, I put a 0, and where the x is, I put a 0. I'm testing 0, 0. And there we go. 0 times 0 times 3 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Bring down your positive 5. 0 is less than 5. Is that true or false? That's true. So this point right here is true. So if that point's true, then we want to shade where that point is, and that point is on the outside of the parabola. So don't shade on the inside, that would be incorrect. Shade on the outside of the parabola, okay? Like that. Okay. that's it. Guys, hope that helps. Email or call